Hey there. In order to be open to wisdom from all sources and to have no barriers to learning, I make it a practice to study under teachers and from texts, from all traditions, focusing in on whatever the next step is in my own development, and finding the source of wisdom, inspiration or teachings which is best suited to overcoming that challenge or reaching that goal. For this reason, my recent dedication has been to studying the Christian meditation manuals. So any works relating to the practice of meditatio or contemplatio, or diaries of practitioners who have undertaken this kind of path. Now, what's very interesting when you study works from different traditions is what matches. So, reading, you can clearly see that the states of consciousness which are to be reached within the Christian path are the same as those you would find in Indian yoga or in Buddhism. It's just they have different names and a slightly different feel and approach. So it's absolutely clear to me that the state of samadhi and the state of henosis are the same thing from the descriptions of those who have experienced this state. One thing that stands out as very different, which I believe can be learnt from, is the approach to failure. So within the Oriental traditions, it tends to be viewed as gentle progress whereby you improve the consciousness and your abilities. So you start off when you're doing your meditation choosing a subject of meditation, whether it be a mantra, a symbol, or an actual subject to think about. And to begin with, you're new to this, you don't really have the quality of consciousness needed, so you keep having to move your mind to that subject. And every time you run out of energy or lose your focus, your mind will drift, but you keep forcibly moving it back. If you keep practicing, you become more aware and you gain a more clear perception and a stronger consciousness, and you can get into the flow. So your mind stays on that subject, and all you need to do is make sure that you ward off any possible distractions. If you keep practicing, you will improve, and your awareness, your mindfulness, it gets to a point where you can just be at one with the subject of your meditation. In the Christian writings, it's never about ability. You already have everything you need to reach these high states. That's actually just inbuilt. It's all about dedication. So there's a part of you holding back. There's part of you that doesn't want this fully, or doesn't believe in this fully. And the three areas that they tend to identify that you could have doubt in are as follows. It could be about you. You don't feel ready for this. Part of you doesn't want to do this. You've got divided goals in life. And maybe it could be part of you doesn't feel worthy, so there's some things you might need to sort out about worthiness first. Maybe you know that the changes that would come about if your level of control over yourself, both in and out of meditation, went up, aren't things that you're willing to embrace yet. if you demonstrated total self-mastery, if you reach this higher states in your meditation every day, people around you would find that hard, or changes would need to happen in your life which you don't really feel ready for. So there's part of you holding back. You're half-hearted in your meditation practice. There's part of you, the same bit that keeps getting distracted is the same bit that actually doesn't want to be doing this and tries to get in the way when you want to apply yourself to your practice sessions. So it could be a lack of faith, belief, or dedication in yourself. The second thing it could be is about the instruction. It could be that the teacher, you're not sure your teacher is showing the genuine way that works. And you look at the students and you can't see enough evidence of the change you're wanting to see in your life, or the experiences you're seeking. So you have doubt in either the teacher or the manual or the methods. The instruction is something you have doubt in. And you know that from the fruits you'll know the root of the tree, so you need to look for evidence of this effectiveness. If this is so, then you do need to examine this. You can't just let things carry on. You're not going to fully dedicate yourself until you've made a firm and definite decision that this is the right course of instruction or teacher that you would like to follow. And the third is faith in the actual way, in your belief. So, of course, in a Christian sense, this would be your faith in God, your faith in the higher powers, that this can actually happen, that this is actually going to happen. This is something real, something definite, something destined. Other people may look at this as a faith in the process. Is this something that really works? Is this something that brings around the results that everyone claims or hopes for? So, reading this again and again, this idea that the barriers to the higher states of consciousness or to virtue in your day-to-day life, to self-control, are actually self-imposed limitations. You're putting the brakes on yourself. Started to intrigue me. Now, as a person, I've always been genuinely, completely dedicated to my practice. So this may be an area which hasn't shown up so much for me, but it could be something important to others and to those that I work with. So I took time to contemplate different things in my life, and I started to realize that in other areas I could detect a genuine sense of inner reluctance which had been limiting what I was doing. And that this sense of inner conflict caused a diffusion of energy and a working against the self in these moments. And in each one of these areas I found I hadn't excelled, I hadn't reached any form of significant progress. For this reason, I've come to believe that both views are important to pay attention to. Now, please let me be clear. Within the Eastern traditions, there is an understanding of this inner reluctance and an understanding of inner conflict being a barrier, but the focus is more on ability and practice and evolution of yourself. And within Christianity, there is an understanding of ability being important, but the focus is on overcoming inner conflict and having faith and fully dedicating yourself to this. So the interesting thing here is that the predominant focus switches between the traditions, and I believe that we can learn from this. So if you're having problems making progress in any of the exercises you're undertaking, if you are finding there are certain things you vow to yourself to do in life, but you find yourself failing to meet the criteria of the self-made vow, start by contemplating those three areas. Is there something in yourself that is causing you to hold back or disbelieve in this undertaking? Is there a lack of faith in yourself? Is there something about the actual vow, the teacher, the lessons that you have doubt over, which is undermining your confidence and dedication? Does this need to be adjusted? Or are you lacking faith that this actually can happen? When you close your eyes, can you see it clearly? Are you ready for this? Do you believe in this possibility? These are important things to address. My name is Martin Folks, and I hope this has been of great use to anyone who wants to make progress in their way. Until next time, let's let every word, thought and action count.